there was a saying that we always got taught in trades, and it never really resonated until I started to move out of it. They always say, get a trade, son, you'll have a job for life.
Yeah.
And everybody saw that as a positive.
Welcome to the Mind Over Money podcast with Jessen James.
Hey everyone, it's Jessen here, and welcome to another episode of the Mind Over Money podcast. If you're new to us, welcome. If you are someone who's been here before, welcome back. You know the drill, whether you're new or just coming back. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't left us a review, what are you playing at? Go ahead and do that right now. So this podcast, as you know, is always dedicated to helping you level up when it comes to your mindset, specifically around wealth generation. And it's not often that I bring guests into the studio to talk about this stuff, because it's always about the Jessen show and me talking about my stuff. But today, I've got a good friend of mine who's travelled all the way here to talk to me about something that I think is going to benefit every single one of you at home. However, we're going to get into that in a second. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome my good friend, multiple entrepreneur, international speaker, and good salesperson, should I say, because he's really good at what he does, Paul Selman. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be on. So yeah, we've been meaning to do this for a while now.
We have.
Especially when we live so close.
We have. We're both in Kent. It's funny how when people are like close, but they never get a chance to, I'll probably see you more in I've seen you more in Peterborough
or the gym.
And the gym than we do, yeah. But you know, it's nice to come together, because look, you've got a great story. Mm-hmm. Before I get people to tell the audience about their stories whenever I have guests on here, I always like to find out something about you. So, What's your purpose?
To be fair, that's actually an interesting question, because it took me a while of working through businesses, especially in my 30s. I think you just find that you graft and you graft and you graft, that I didn't even realise why I was doing it.
Yeah.
You get into the habit of getting up at 5 o'clock every morning. You know, I was, specifically for me, I was on the tools anyway from sort of like 7 o'clock then onwards until 8:30 at night. And it was only when one of my mentors actually asked me, well, why are you building this business? Why are you doing it anyway in the first place? And I thought, I don't even have a hobby. I have no idea. Like, if we do actually manage to build this business and then I sell it, I've got no idea what's next, what I want to do. So it's a good question to start with, because I've had to actually pay a lot of thought to that. And at first, I think in your 30s, I was just chasing the money. Yeah. You know, I like the idea of having material things.
Yeah, why not? There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, there isn't. What I found, though, is that the more money I've actually managed to accumulate, the less I actually spend. Because all of a sudden you realise, well, actually, I think I was just trying to treat myself in the early days, because I felt like I deserved it, because I was doing 80 hours a week. And now, I work less, but work in a more, I don't know, what's the word, leveraged fashion. I feel like I've got enough, so I don't have to spend it. It's a bit of a weird mindset. So for me, I don't want to be a billionaire. Yeah. I'm multi-millions possibly. Yeah. But as long as I've got control of my time and I've got options, that's the most important thing to me, because I've realised over the last 10 years, especially, I'm completely unemployable.
Yeah. Join the club.
Which is good. It's a good place to be. But it's also, once you get that realisation, you realise that, okay, this shit is on me now. Yeah. There's no getting out of this. I have to confront this, and you have to look at life in a different way. Fundamentally, it's about options for me. I want to be able to commit to stuff when I want to. I'm very, very protective now over my time. Because I've realised you can make the money over and over again, but it's the time you're not getting back.
So I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people who watch this show, a lot of them are about money and they're wanting to make more money. And it's interesting, because if you talk to any successful person and you say to them, would you like to take £1 million, or would you like to have all the time in the world? They'll take the time all day long.
Yeah.
Because you can make so much more with that time. So like you're saying, you're leveraging your time more, and obviously your time's important to you. And I guess what I'm hearing here is freedom is a massive value of yours.
Definitely. Having that freedom to be able to, as you said, the time and the freedom to be able to seize an opportunity when it comes along. Because that was the problem, is like, people always talk, especially when I'm building their construction business, about being in the right place at the right time. I'm not necessarily sure that that's true. I think you have to be ready to make the right place the right time, if that makes sense. Because I think loads of people have been in the right place at the right time, they just weren't ready enough to see it.
Yes.
So once you've got your time and your mental clarity back, you've built yourself up a little bit, developed yourself, then all of a sudden there's shitloads of right places and right times. But sometimes there's too many. There's too many opportunities, too many shiny pennies. But
this is it, and then we all get all excited. I want to do this. I want to do. It all looks amazing. So take me back, because you mentioned the tools. So for the listeners, obviously I know your background, I know your story, but for people listening and people watching in, like where did it all begin?
Yeah, well, I was known for many years as Paul the Plumber.
Paul the Plumber.
Paul the Plumber. I still can't shake that with some people I know as well. They're still saying, "Can you sort my tap out?" Yeah.
No,
I know you don't do that anymore, but so I kind of fell into it. So I left, going back a little bit further, I actually joined the Navy and I decided to do an electrical apprenticeship there.
Okay.
Then trained as a weapons engineer, worked my way up to sort of a section head there as well, which was good. And then it was actually when my first marriage broke down and I thought, I'm going to be a single dad now.
Yeah.
So I need to either leave, and it was either leave and get a job, which to be fair, I've been institutionalised into that sort of mindset.
Like many people?
Yeah, especially with the military. You get very heavily reliant on having that team around you. And I thought, if I do that, I probably won't have enough time to spend with Lucas, and I won't be able to pick him up from nursery, all that stuff that I knew I was going to have to do. So I thought, instead of doing that, I'll start a business, and reached out to one of my friends who's, funny enough, he's ex-policeman, so services, and gone into that. I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I'm a gas engineer." I went, "Any good?" He went, "Yeah, it's all right." And that was it. Career advice done. I was like, but that's fine. I thought, if you're good at business, it will go well. If you're not, you're shit. And it just won't do. Yeah. So left the Navy. Thought, like I said, if in the business I'm going to have all my time options, I'll be able to pick him up. And none of that happened. Started off on 20 hours a week as I built it up, and capped out about 80 hours a week. And I was never seeing him. Never seeing Lily. Who
trading your time for money all the time.
Yeah, that's it. And never seeing the family I was trying to provide for. So that's how I went through the tools. But I still had that mindset that if you keep grafting, something's going to happen eventually and you will get that breakthrough.
Most people give up.
Well, yeah, and I think there is still a lot to be said in having that consistency and discipline in anything in life. Yeah. But without the correct knowledge as well, that was the last bit that was missing. It's like I needed that 10% of knowledge that I didn't have. So 90% graft, at 10% of knowledge missing, just means you're going to graft forever. And that's what I've had to adapt my mindset to. Is like literally go out and learn a new skill. But because I know I've got that work ethic and I've got that discipline and the consistency, it doesn't really matter what I do. It's going to go all right. I've just got to keep plugging away at it. So, on the tools for, if you count the Navy, about 16 years in total. Wow. 8 years in my own business, and I worked myself into a hole. Owed my own company 20 grand. I'd never heard of a director's loan account. That was news out of me.
You soon find out what they are.
I was like taking money out of sales revenue for years and not knowing. And something was missing. And then it was, like I said, got some business training, learned how to actually run a business. And then I've used those skills kind of develop into different industries over the last.
And you exited, like you sold the company.
Yeah, I did. I sold it back in March 22. It was good. Like I said, 6 figures more than I was going to walk away from it. Not massive exit, but as it compared to somebody who was earning actually, when I look back now, I was earning 23 grand a year doing 80 hours a week.
Mad.
I know. Doesn't take a genius to work out that's less than minimum wage.
But you know what? I think it's inspirational for and it's good. I think I want to touch on this a bit more because people listening at home, if you think about it, a lot of people are either employed or self-employed. And employed means you've got an employer, and self-employed means you've got a job with a shit boss. Which is yourself.
It's even better.
It's what I mean. But a lot of people, especially in the trades are very, very common where people are self-employed. They're not actual business owners. But some of them are stuck in that employee mindset, and that work ethic isn't quite there. But they feel that they're working hard and they're doing all the hours and stuff, but it's sacrificing other areas of their lives. So it's thinking like a business owner, not an operator, which is obviously what you did. But tell me, what mindset shift did you have to make to do that? Because most people are like, well, actually, maybe I should just stay on the tools because if I get off the tools, I'm not going to earn any money. But you had other people working with you, right, in your company?
Not at that point. Eventually, I did. First 8 years, it was just Paul the Plumber. I just literally...
That's never going to go.
Never going to go. I did not know. I mean, I kept thinking, well, I need an engineer. I know that all bigger firms have them, but how the hell do they afford that? Because I'm not even paying myself correctly without understanding that dynamic of leveraging other people's time will eventually get you the money. So, there's a few lessons I had to learn. One was that leverage works. 2, marketing spend is massive because I wasn't doing any marketing. And then therefore didn't have enough leads. But you think it's chicken and egg, isn't it? Which one comes first? So once I'd addressed the mindset issues and actually learned that if I start to just take a leap of faith with marketing, and I think this is why more millionaires have been made out of the world of like private equity than property, stock shares or anything like that before, because all you're looking at is that ratio between marketing spend and gross profit coming in. And once I got the hang of that, I thought, right, well, I know if I spend some money, I'm going to get some shit leads, and that's okay.
Yes.
As long as some of them turn into sales and there's a ratio there, then that'll allow me to hire the engineers and we build up from there. But there was a saying that we always got taught in trades, and it never really resonated until I started to move out of it. And they always say, get a trade, son, you'll have a job for life.
Yeah.
And everybody saw that as a positive. But I thought, they didn't fucking lie.
True.
You will literally have a job for life. Nobody said, sit on the beach, have lads working for you, have a laptop, whatever. So I thought, they've been telling me this for years and years. And the moment I need to now upgrade that tool set. So I always used to soothe myself with the fact that it didn't matter what went wrong. I could take the odd risk. I could always nip down B&Q, get some spanners, get some screwdrivers. We're out going again. We're subbing 300 a day, whatever it was. And then I upgraded those skills to marketing and sales. And now I know those skills. I've upgraded the toolbox, and I can't go broke now. As long as there's a product and I know how to market it to enough people and then sell it to some people, then we're good, It's that ratio game, isn't it?
It's so true. And I think this is something that's very common for a lot of people. You know me, I've had the pleasure of speaking to people all over the world. And the common theme is what do I invest in? Do I invest in stocks? Do I invest in this? Do I invest in property? Do I invest in that? And I'm saying invest in your bloody self, in your skill set.
Yeah.
And they look at me and go, oh, you're just trying to sell me a course. Yes, I bloody am. And the reason for that is because, like you just said, I love what you just said, because I stand by this, and I had to practice what I preached when I went for my divorce. People could take away your assets, they can take away your car, your house, but they can't take away what's in your head and what's in your heart.
Yeah.
And this is transferable skills that you can go, like this is why you can speak with such certainty, because everyone goes on about financial freedom. I'm always about financial certainty. And for me, that basically means fucking take everything.
Yeah.
I'll make it all back. Why? Because of my skill set. And you've obviously you learn that, and you've got that mindset. And a lot of people out there who are listening to this right now, look, honestly, upgrade your skill set. Like, learn sales, learn marketing, learn how to speak, learn stuff like this. Because if you don't, then you are going to be literally reliant on whatever assets that you've got right now, and all of those things can be stripped from you. So obviously, moving on from there. We'll come on to your speaker journey as well, because obviously you're a great speaker and great trainer as well. But you've also upgraded your skill set in investing.
Yeah. So
tell me a bit more about that.
Well, I started with property.
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, I wanted to move from Paul the plumber to Paul the property investor. I thought it sounded a bit posher. Okay, so I thought, okay,
hasn't got the same ring to it.
I actually went on a course and signed up with a mentor. I'm like, well, you probably Kevin.
Yeah. We love Kevin.
He said, to be fair, he said, right. I was one of these guys sat at the back of the room, got dead excited, and I thought, right, fuck it, credit card, we're in. I thought, it's either that or bust. I'm literally that low now. And sometimes I think you need that push. It's like the hardest people to help are the people that are comfortable.
Absolutely.
When there's no comfort there, it's either you're in or you're out. It's like, well, we've got to make this work. So Kev onboarded me and said, right, okay, before I can help you, tell me about this plumbing business that you've got. So I told him, and he said, right, okay, I'll stop you there. I did promise you I'll be honest with you. You don't own the plumbing business, you own the job. Yeah. Okay, cool, no worries. He said, tell me about the figures. So I told him what I knew, okay, and he said, right, I'll stop you again. Promise to be honest, you've got a really shit job. I thought, fuck, I'm like nearly 20 grand in now, Kev.
I paid you for this abuse.
Exactly, yeah. But he then said, look, I can't teach you how to build a business. I can't teach you how to do well in property at the moment because you're hiding from the stuff that you're running away from still. So he said, if you come over here now and run away from the plumbing industry that you've been in for, 8-10 years now, in 2 years' time, you'll have a shit property job.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So he said, I need to teach you how to build or get you introduced to people who can teach you how to actually build the construction-based business, then use the skills that you learn from there to implement them into the trades, into the property business. And that's why it took me 8 years to get one engineer. And then I invested all the profit into our first member of staff in the property industry within 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's what helped to grow that business and do it remotely up in Manchester.
Yeah.
I did realise, though, on that journey that you have to be enthusiastic about your opportunity because I knew property was good.
Yeah.
But I don't like property. Okay, I don't like solicitors. I don't like estate agents.
Same.
I don't like vendors. I don't like tenants.
Don't like talking to people.
Yeah, I'm an introvert pretty much.
On a podcast.
Yeah, on the podcast. Yeah, exactly. I like talking about what I like to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
It's like so. Property was the first investment vehicle, and to be fair, I still see that as a solid thing.
Yeah.
So, but I prefer stocks and shares, forex trading, that sort of stuff. So. Once again, I applied.
It matches your personality, right?
Well, it does, and to be fair, I like the way that the thing that annoyed me most about property is that even if I was so close to a deal, it only took somebody else to cock it up.
Yeah.
So it might be a solicitor taking too long or an estate agent saying the wrong thing through a vendor and all of a sudden it unravels. Whereas me, a chart, my mindset and red and green candles are going up and down and trading price action. That's all on me.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, it's me. And I like that autonomy.
Yeah.
So what I do now is I trade the stock market, and then if I want to actually take some money out of that and invest it into something like property for longevity, then we can go down that route.
But again, you're taking transferable skills, multiple streams of incomes, but they're backed up by multiple income skills.
Definitely, And I still use the skill of leverage that I learned when I grew in the plumbing company. So I go, right, well, now I've got a bit of money coming in. What can I pay staff to now do for me?
Yeah.
So that was something I took on board massively as I invest into people, I invest into systems, and I invest into marketing funnels to then start to multiply that. So yes, there's a element in investing where people say, I'm just going to take my money and park it somewhere and hopefully it'll grow itself. I love cash flow. I can't get away from that. It's just like, listen, I'm definitely one of these investors that has patience. It's something I'm working on. If somebody says, you know what, yes, park it in there for 30 years. 30 years' time, you'll be a millionaire. I'm like, fuck, I want to be a millionaire now.
I've come from anything worse.
Can I not chuck $5,000 in marketing at the wall and get 50 grand back?
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do. I want that like quick monthly or maybe a year's return. So, I mean, maybe that'll change as I get older. I don't know. I might grow some patience, but
no, but I guess it depends where you're at in your life because at the end of the day, look, I think especially as women as well, but as men, we get to a certain point where we've got like a window where we're at our peak and we can do certain things, and I think one of those things is making as much money as we can in that window, because then you go to a different evolution of your life and you go, right, now I'm ready to chill. And actually I'm okay to, I'm 60 now, and I'll park some money for 5 years. There you go, like because I don't need it right now. Yeah. Or I'll park that money for my kids actually, and that it's a bit. It's
build a legacy.
It's all about stages. There's nothing wrong with cash flow. Like it's absolutely fine. So, but what I'm hearing is, and I think a lot of people need to pay attention to what we're discussing here, because ultimately I want you guys to get as much as you can from this. Is there's a certain mindset that's going on right now. And it's an investor mindset, not a cost mindset. And what I've noticed with a lot of, I don't like to use the word broke because I think it's derogatory, but people who don't have enough right now, I think a lot of it comes down to how they think. So, for example, they'll come and say, well, obviously you teach people how to trade, right? And they'll go, well, how much does it cost? Yeah. And cost basically means you're never going to see the money back again. It's an expense. Whereas people who have got a wealthy mindset is, what's the investment? Because now I'm expecting an ROI. And I've always been like that. Any course I've invested in, any mentor I've invested in, I've always gone like, what is the ROI on this? Yeah. Like speaking, for example, I invested a hell of a lot of money into speaking with my mentor, Andy Harrington. Spent a lot of money on them. But the millions I've made in sales off the back of that was like one of the best investments I ever made. But the challenge with a lot of people is that they've got this cost mentality, and then they moan they don't have enough money. I see a lot with business owners as well. Yeah. Even the tradespeople, they moan about spending money, but they want to sell to other people. Yeah, they want to sell at high ticket without being willing to pay high ticket. But this is it. And they moan about other people like trying to penny pinch, and they're penny pinching, and it's like, well, change your mindset, So what practical advice can you give someone right now if they're stuck in this cost mentality? Because you, like you said, you were like at the back of the room with a credit card out and going, shit, I don't even have the money for this, but fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. But so what advice could you give someone who's stuck in that perpetual cycle of cost versus investing mindset? Well, I think they need to change their personal life a lot of the time first. That's a staggered change. I think you can't really just flip someone's mindset and all of a sudden they perceive it in the right way. I think you have to see the proof in that. Once you've done it once and it's been proved, then you can do it again and again. Because in a similar way, I get asked that question all the time. They go, well, will this work for me? And that's completely the wrong question. It's like, will you work for the cause? That's right. Will you work for yourself? Yeah, exactly. And I go, look, this blueprint works. I mean, I learned this through obviously Joseph at TM, but it's like, this is quite a basic blueprint in all investments, all business activities. It all starts with some marketing, leads to some sort of sale and negotiation, then something operational, and then finance happens. And so this will work for you. It's, have you got the discipline to follow it through? So I ask people like, what are your drinking habits? Are you still smoking?
Are you committing to your diet? Are you committing to the gym? Are you committing to all the stuff?
Yeah.
Because I think you can get quite a good steer on somebody's ability to succeed just on those sort of things. And I mean, this comes from a person who, well, you go back 5-6 years, I smoked 30 a day.
Wow.
If I'd had a good day at work, I'd have a glass of wine to celebrate. If it was a bad day, I'd finish the bottle. I used to train religiously. By that, I mean like Christmas, Easter, Ramadan. It was awful.
What major events?
And I was about 15 stone. There's actually a running joke in my family. Like if you look at the last 10 years worth of pictures, I'm always in Snickers workwear trousers, polo shirt, and I'm just nipping in for the photo.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I had to start going, right, you know what, success leaves clues. I'm going to give up the booze for a bit. I ended up having 18 months dry, got off the fags. All of a sudden I felt better, felt more positive.
Wow.
Started going to the gym and thinking, well, I'm seeing results there. So I now know if I apply myself, this works. Took a leap of faith. And this is what you need from your mentor. It's like they need to believe in you enough for you to get going. Yeah. And then the self-belief kicks in. Yeah. So thankfully, Joseph, Kevin, they were my first two mentors. They saw enough in me to then point me in the right direction. Yeah. And then I realised, you know what, I'm fucking good at this. So the moment I do commit to something, as long as I keep doing it long enough, now I've got the right knowledge under the consistency, the results come. Yeah. Once you've seen it happen once, it just starts its own momentum.
And that's that whole "how you do anything's how you do everything" mentality, right? Yeah. And I'm glad you touched on that, because it's true. Like a lot of people have got this I call it a scarcity mindset or a lack mindset.
Massively.
But it's also showing up in other areas of their life, in their relationship, in their health, in their well-being. And look, maybe I'm just being biased here, but people do judge you. They judge you on how you look. Like I see business owners trying to sell to people and they look a state. Yeah. And I'm like, if you can't even look after your bloody self, how are you going to look after my business? I see accountants doing this. Like, you look a mess, mate. Yeah. How are you going to look after my accounts?
Where's your discipline? Yeah.
But again, people think, oh, you're being judgmental or you're this and you're that. It's like, no, listen, look, I genuinely believe if someone's... Look, we're human. No one's going to have their complete personal life in check.
Of course they won't, no.
But there are certain things like, look, if you can't even look after yourself, then now you're going to look after me as a customer, as a client and stuff and things like that. So start working on yourself and doing stuff that will enhance your life, whether that's giving up the booze, like you said, or changing your lifestyle or changing your habits or changing who you hang around. All these things massively help. So then... Obviously, you trade. You teach people how to trade, but you also got into public speaking, and that's something that a lot of people are scared of. Yeah, which isn't. I'm not saying it's easy to get started, but when you know how, then it's great. But like, so talk to me a bit about the public speaking journey.
Well, it started with just a great deal of anxiety around it,
as most people do.
Yeah, and it was my one of my best friend in the Navy, Phil. Phil, if you're listening, I still haven't forgiven you. Okay, so he said, look, I want you to be my best man. Yeah. I was like, right, that just threw me into a 6-month spiral of pure anxiety. I was like, what am I going to do here? I don't know how to do this. Never done any public speaking. Even if I did do the odd presentation in the Navy, massively threw me off for weeks as well before it. Yeah. So I knew it was an issue, but now I know that it's an issue for most people. What I've got good at now is going, right, what's the issue? I'm too old now to let this fester. Yeah. So I'm just going to run at this issue now until it falls down. Good. So went on a course again, like I said, the Success Leaves Clues. I mean, I've spent about 20 odd grand on public speaking training eventually. Yeah. Hypnotherapy, counselling, all sorts of stuff to unpick this stuff. And now 9 hours on stage is fine. But I also knew that I couldn't get to the next level in business unless I was able to address a room full of people. Yeah. I think there was I even forget where I saw it now, but there was like this wealth staircase type thing. And it said you start off exchanging your time for money. Then you move into the managerial role when you exchange other people's time for money. Yeah. Then we move into communication. I thought, well, that is the public speaking bit. And eventually I still haven't got to the next level, which is the imagination. Just bring an offer to the market. You've conjured something up and you create money from it. And I thought at the moment I moved into communication, I thought, this is where the magic happens. I enjoy doing this because then you've got these other bits underneath it. So it's, once again, something that I've had to develop. Thankfully, I've had mentors that will trust me enough to let me develop. Yeah. So Joseph, obviously, Valenti is one of my mentors in that right. So I still remember my first ever talk I had to do for him. And he put me on stage for the odd 20-minute testimonial. And he found me in a back room, white as a sheep. Like, are you all right? Just go and have a sleep. And then he said, look, I'm going to get you get to do the morning of a discovery day. And I rang him 5 minutes before because he promised me he'd sit at the back and watch. And if I had a wobble, because I'd had a few of them at that point in time, he'd just walk on, save the day. I could walk off, get a cup of tea. And I just rang him and I said, where are you? It's like 5-2. Where are you? He said, yeah, sorry, mate, change the plan. I'm in Marbella. I'm like, you shit.
So you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, he said, anyway, you got 4 hours. I'm sure you'll be fine. Crack on. And there's a bit of me that thinks he did it on purpose.
More than likely.
Maybe he just liked Marbella. I'll never get the hang of it. Yeah, either way. So he threw me in the deep end. But I think sometimes you do have to just immerse yourself, don't you? And then once you've been there and you've faced your fears long enough, then that's when the
But this is what I always say to people: like for you to create a new belief, you've got to create a new experience.
Yes.
And once you went up there and did it, you went, actually, this is.
I actually enjoy it.
It's not as bad as I thought. And then your unconscious mind always wants to have more of what it feels is good for you. So it goes, right, let me do more. And that's how mastery is developed. Same like trading. We'll talk about that in a second. But like once you place your first trade and you actually maybe get your first win or whatever, you realise, actually, this is possible.
Yeah.
But before that, you're like, crap, like, how much of my account should I spend? And what if I lose? And all this kind of all this stuff's going through your head.
Of course it is, yeah.
You spend like years in demo accounts and you never really go into the real world and all that kind of stuff. So look, I think it's safe to say, like, there's this theme going through this podcast at the moment, which is a lot around skill set and upgrading your mindset, which is what my listeners are here for. Yeah. And we're talking about leverage as well. So leveraging time, technology, people, money. These are the four things that successful people leverage. But most people they're not doing that. No. Now, trading in itself is a very leveraged way of making some money because you're using money to make more money with it. Yep. And look, in some situations you're able to leverage time as well because it's depending on, as long as you're not like trading like 5-minute charts, you'll be all right, but like it depends on your cup of tea.
We'll get to this
in a second. But it's always about strategies, and I think so let's talk a little bit about trading because I think some people might want to hear more about this because it is something that a lot of people are interested in, but they're also either have unrealistic expectations of what can be achieved. Yep. Or they're scared because they've either been ripped off before or they've tried it before and they've lost loads of money or it hasn't worked out. Now, I'm a big believer, whether it's trading or whether it's property, that you don't pick a strategy, you let a strategy pick you.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, we joked there about 5-minute charts and stuff, but some people literally go in and sniper stuff and in and out and whatever, and they're in 1-minute charts, bang, 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 and then you go. But it's very intense and it's very like you got to sit there and whatever it is. But then if you got a full-time job and a family and kids, and so like, well, I'm sorry, mate, that's not the strategy for you right now. Perhaps you want to look at more of a set and forget strategy, or play a monthly chart, or play a distant chart. Like it's a different ball game. So, of course it is. So, if someone's listening to this right now and they wanted to get started, what would you advise them first?
Yeah. Okay. Probably self-education to start with. Yeah. I once again just this whole mantra here is I went and did a course first. Yeah. So I paid somebody else to get me out of my way to start with. Funny enough, I don't actually use any of those strategies now, but what it did was it opened me up to you need to follow something consistently. Sure. None of those strategies you mentioned there, finding one that suits you, none of them really fitted me at that time, mainly because I was still working. I still had a job. I was building the business up. And it took me about 2 years and a lot of lost money in order to work out that it's not actually all about the strategy. I reckon it's probably about 5 to 10, maybe 15% strategy, 85% mindset. A little bit like marketing, you need to know that you're going to get shit trades. Just like you're going to get shit leads, and you're going to have to spend some money in order to get them. So when I place a trade now, where I put my stop loss, which we'll talk about now, is say I'm risking $1,000 or something like that. I'm risking $1,000 to find out if I'm right. Yeah. That's all I'm doing. And I want to be right, at least 3-to-1 ratio. So a bit like marketing. As long as it's 3-to-1, we're good. We're good. So you have to adapt your head to know that when people start trading, they all look for higher win rate strategies. So that if they think the more they win, the more profitable they're going to be. I've actually found that the lower win rate strategies, as long as they've got the correct risk to reward ratio, are more profitable. Yeah. So I won't even enter a trade now unless it's got a chance of winning at least 3-to-1. Yeah. Because then I know on a statistical framework, I can be wrong 7 times out of 10 and still be 2% up. Yeah. Which is fine. It's handling the 7 out of 10 losses. because that will hurt, especially if you've got a wider strategy where it means you might not be placing a trade for 2 or 3 days, and then you get excited when you get that, oh, here's an opportunity finally, and then it fails.
Yeah.
And it's picking yourself up in those moments that count. So you're right about finding a strategy. I mean, the strategy I do now, literally, I trade from 7 till 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just as Frankfurt opens at 7, London opens at 8. When the volume hits the market, you tend to find then that's when the price moves. I've had to restrict it down to just a couple of pairs. I mean, I lost money very quickly once trading the natural gas market.
Right. Okay.
Of all things, as a plumber. And when I fitted a boiler, natural gas completely screwed me. I think I lost the profit from 2 jobs on that one trade.
Oh gosh.
I once traded a double top, which is a technical term, and on soybeans, and lost about £1,000 in 40 odd seconds on that as well.
Soya bean drinking people.
Yeah, no, that's it. It screwed me. I thought it was going to drop it, didn't it? So there's a few other things. It's like I started off risking my own money. I thought you had to. To be fair, you kind of did a little bit more then. You're not so much now. I'll talk about that in a moment. But so when I was risking, I had like a £10,000 account, and people expect to make Instagram returns on a 10 grand account. Yeah. So they're thinking, well, out of 10 grand, I can make 5 grand a month. Yeah. It's a 50% return a month. Yes. It's completely unrealistic. But people go, well, they're doing it. Well, no, not naturally. Actually, they might not be doing that. No. So 5 to 10% a month is there or thereabouts what you should expect from most trading strategies if you're a good trader. Yeah. And even that's good. Maybe 2 to 5% a month is more realistic. Which, if you compare that to a house, a property, a buy-to-let or something, that's maybe 3 to 5% a year. Yeah. So still fantastic returns. But they expect to be able to walk in off the street, pick up a book, do an online or YouTube video, and now they're making 5% a month. Yeah. And they don't. And then they give up. And that's why they say there's a bit of a saying in the Forex industry that Forex is risky and 95% of traders fail. That's not because of Forex. No. That's because 95% of the traders fail before they get good. That's it. And they just haven't given it long enough or enough practice or enough mindset, or worked on their mindset enough to actually work out how this stuff works.
And that's the psychology of trading, because like you said, most of it is actually mindset and psychology based. And I think one thing we'll touch on real quickly is the trading investor mindset versus the gambler mindset. Yes. Because there are gamblers. Because like you said, look, I'm risking $1,000 to see if I'm right. Yeah. To an investor, it's a strategic risk that you've taken based on all your assessments and your due diligence or whatever. To a gambler, though, they're just throwing a dice, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
So what advice can you give someone to flip from that gambling mentality to actually having a trading mentality?
Yeah, well, pick one strategy. So once you've actually picked one strategy, and as long as it's got a win rate of above 25%, and you're going to take at least a 3-to-1 risk reward, the strategy will probably work. Yeah. Then go back and back test that, so just see what it's actually performed like over the last 2 to 3 years. And that's it's a strenuous exercise. You can get softwares that will do the back testing for you, and it will have an entire 3-year back test done in 3 seconds. Wow! But if you don't do a manual back test, you'll never be able to train your eyes enough to see the setup. And you also need to train your eyes to see what it feels like as it goes through lulls. So it takes me maybe an hour to back test 1 month's worth of data. But in that hour, I even get snippets of, well, that would have felt rough. So there was one in March this year, and we had 1 winning trade on the 1st of March. Yeah. Then we had 9 losers after that, and then we had 3 winning trades on the 27th, 28th, and 29th. So the overall month was up 4.5%. Yeah. However, I know that would have absolutely killed me by having 9 losing trades on there, just keeping going. So, but if I just gone press button, back test, gave me the results, I go, well, it's profitable. But it hasn't taught me that there's going to be a massive lull in the middle of March where I'm going to have to sit through. So, you be skipping those sort of bits. So what I'd advise is find one strategy, back test. If it makes money, great. Now just train yourself on that strategy. And if you have to start off, you mentioned before time frames, start off on the higher time frames, because most of these trading strategies will work higher and lower. Yeah. It just means there's less setups. Yeah. But at least it takes away the ability or having to react, and there's more emotions on the lower time frame. So for me, I like it. That's where I go. So I like to be in and out. My max trades are 2 hours long. So 4 hours is where I take my bias. That's my long term one. Yeah. 15 minutes for my signals, and I enter on the 1 minute chart, not the 5. So we're in. So, but that's good for a refined entry. But that same strategy I trade would work on the monthly, the daily to the hour. It just takes longer. And to be fair, it would be more refined. And I'd probably have to do it on more than 2 pairs to make a living out of it. But you do you. I wish I'd done a bit more digging. Saying that, I did. So I actually got told to do a personality profile test before I started trading, and I actually done one of these disc profiles.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, while I'm actually, I know they sent the report through, but sod it, I'm just going to open the trading account and get going. And it was only after 6 months and I was about 20 grand down. I thought, I better read the results. So I went
what kind of trader am I?
So I went and looked at it. There was something like 95% type D. So for business, great. I'm in. I don't pull the trigger. We commit. For trading, that's awful. Because I'm in. And it was only after losing that money. So I'd say do some psychological profiling first. Find out who you are. Then pick a strategy, back test that strategy, demo trade it for 6 months. If you make money on a demo, it's a good thing. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into making money in the real world, because then you've got the added emotion of the risk. But trade prop firm money, that's the next thing. Just for 450 quid these days, you can get access to 100 grand's worth of trading capital.
Wow.
And people seem to, especially some guys that I get on as clients, they go, well, actually, I'd just rather trade my own money than bother with a prop firm. I'm like, if you can't pass a prop firm challenge, you're just going to lose your own money. So risk 450 quid, leverage it up at $100,000, trade that, and if you make money on that, then start using the profits from that to build up your own trading capital. But don't go, well, I can't be bothered with waiting and doing the challenges and passing the evaluations. I just want to spend 5 grand of what I got and blow the lot. That's 10 challenges.
But that's a gambler mentality.
It is. Well, I think they all start off there. I mean, let's face it, the price can go up, down or sideways.
That's it.
There's not much you can do to it, but it's learning that strategy to go, well, actually, over the course of 100 trades, probability says that I'm going to be right enough times to make a profit. But you've just got to be able to sit through the losses too.
This is it. Patience. Patience.
Yeah, patience. But my patience still struggles. That's why I'm on a 1 minute chart. I'll be patient enough for a 1 minute.
No, but still, you've got the fundamentals there, and you're. I like to say, like, look, we're not perfect, but once you're educated, you've got awareness.
Yes.
And if you're awareness of your patterns of behaviour, if you're awareness of your triggers, if you're awareness of what you're doing, you can correct yourself. But most people are not aware of this mentality. So even like you're going to, Paul, you're not being very patient right now, because you're aware that you lack patience.
Yeah.
But before, you'd be like completely oblivious to it.
Yeah.
So you just crack on and you get frustrated.
Chase the market.
But this is it. But now you've got awareness. You're not perfect. You're going to catch yourself.
Of course.
Going down a rabbit hole again. But you go, hang on a minute. Slap on a wrist.
Well, I normally do more hypnotherapy or more counselling, or just learn. I mean, I had something called. There's a new one on me that actually is. I work with a therapist quite a lot on trading anyway. I've got her in the academy now to help guys with that as well.
Brilliant.
But it was something I'd never been even made aware of, and it was I suffered from injustice bias.
Okay.
I thought, well, this is a new one. So what had happened is the market had come into a position, and we'd went 3 or 4 days for a setup, and I placed my order as normal. Everything's going by the rule book. Okay, the broker came down, it should have triggered the order, and for some reason there was a technical thing with the broker, and it went through where I should have entered the market and then went off and made a massive profit.
Yeah.
But because it didn't trigger the order...
You didn't make anything?
I was left behind in the trade, and at that point this injustice bias kicked in, and I started chasing. I was like, well, I should be in this, so let's just get in at this position, and then that throws the whole system out. Yeah. So I said, I reached out, I said, I'm not going to put up with any crap these days. It's like, if there's a problem, I'm facing it. I need to get it gone. So I reached out to Louise and said, what's this? And she came up with that term. She said, you're so ex-military and you're so rules-based and standard operating procedures that you thought, I've done everything right now and something out of my control messed it up for me. And that was enough to send you on a full tilt. And I ended up losing about 3 or 4% of the account that day, just by chasing the market around. But once again, I realised
you're supposed to risk like 1%, aren't you?
1% on the trade, but I risked it on 4 or 5 trades that I shouldn't have took. So, but it's fine. We made all the money back, but because I was able to still have enough discipline to walk away eventually. But knowing that injustice bias now is part of my mindset now means that the next time that happened, I was able to go, that just happened, Paul. You still did everything in your power. It was just a broker error and walk away, and we lost 0.5% on that next trade. So it's just working on your failures, isn't it?
But I think a lot of us suffer with that to a certain extent. And when I say suffer, we go through it, because none of us like to feel we've been hard done by.
Yeah.
Or
Done
we've
over.
been wronged, or we've been done over. No one likes that feeling. So whether that's in trading, whether that's at work, whether people have that all the time, you know. So it's just it's part of life, but it's learning how to be aware of it.
Of course.
Because some people are more sensitive to it, and some people are less they don't give a shit. You know. So you know, but at least you know, again, awareness.
Yeah.
Your awareness of your triggers. You know what they are.
That's it.
You know, you've spoken about it with his therapist. He's all good now.
Yeah, certainly. Been given a cuddle.
Give it a cuddle. He's all good. He's all good.
Yeah.
So, Paul, look, I'm going to wrap this up because
sure.
you know we could speak all day on this, and I think more people are going to be interested in trading and stuff and things like that. So, for anyone wanting to get started, how can they get in touch with you? What's the best way of getting in contact with you, and what can you do for them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, depending on what channels you like to follow people on, you can either go to paulselman.co.uk or you can follow me on Instagram at selmanpaul. Okay, and if you, well, to be fair, if your listeners, if they want to actually get involved and have a Zoom call talking more specifically about trading, then just fire over the word. Just fire over the word trading on a DM, and then I'll know you've at least come through this route, and then we can have a chat from there.
Perfect. So you heard that yourself. Make sure you go and follow Paul. All the handles will be in the show notes anyway, so you can go and click on that as well. But if you go and follow Paul, drop him a DM in the word trading. DM in the word trading. Or therapist? No.
Or therapist. I need help.
I need help. Help me, Paul. No, but yeah, DM me the word trading, and then you'll happily have a conversation with them about trading.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I think is brilliant.
Be great.
So I appreciate you coming on. It's been a great conversation.
Been a pleasure.
And like I said, it's the first time we've actually spoken about actual trading on here. Well, I've spoken to people about investing and all that kind of stuff, but we've heard it all from investing in yourself to having discipline to leverage to patience to injustice bias. We've had it all on this podcast, so it's been a great conversation. So I appreciate you being on, my friend.
Been brilliant.
Thank you. And everyone listening at home, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe on your favourite platforms and be sure to leave us a review. Why? Because there's so many podcasts out there and it's hard for people to figure out which ones to listen to. And if you enjoyed this particular episode, make sure you share it with a friend of yours, especially if you've got someone who actually is interested in trading. Maybe you want to share this particular episode with them so they can hit Paul up and maybe get some help with that. Okay? But until next time, I wish you all the wealth, health, success and happiness that you truly deserve.
You've been listening to the Mind Over Money podcast with Jessen James. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on all the channels, links in the show notes. Please also leave a review and visit www.jessenjames.com to find more resources on how to create the life you deserve.